Hey crocheters! So this week has actually been very productive, which I'm so grateful because last week was not very productive, and the week before that I tried really hard to get a lot done and it didn't really feel like anything happened. So I'm grateful for weeks like this week. I'm also grateful to my mother-in-law for having my daughter over to visit for a few days so I could be productive. Yeah, that's been a huge blessing. So last week when we left off, we were talking about the Baby Penguin Lovey, and I just had the head shape made and the blanket on. I hadn't gotten the arms done or the eyes or the beak or anything. So this week I was able to get it all done and I'm pretty happy with it. As I mentioned, I decided to go with the black for the flippers instead of the light gray, so that people who are buying this pattern, and just this pattern, didn't have to buy 3 balls of burnout blanket yarn. But when I kind of compare the look of these two, I do kind of like the gray on the baby, maybe a little more than the black on the Lovey. So certainly if this is something that you are going to be you want to have both patterns, or say you already have gray, you're not going to be buying more or extra yarn for this project, I think the flippers on the Lovey would still look really cute in gray. These two are together. And also I mentioned last week one thing that I did do differently on this pattern versus this pattern is that this one I worked in a spiral and this one is worked in concentric circles. I did it in a spiral. This one had to be in concentric circles so that the arms or the flippers, when they were just sewn on and attached, would lay right. If you do it in a spiral, they were off balance, one was higher than the other, and that kind of drove me insane. But where on this one you just attach the arms at the end, that didn't need to happen. And I know that spirals are just faster. And when it comes to crocheting, you kind of want that flow. You don't want it to be interrupted. So times when I can, I'm trying to work projects in spirals, but not every project can be. Case in point, the Chubby Skunk, which I also finished. I finished it yesterday, but I'm really happy with how the face turned out, especially it's just so cute and darling in my opinion. I'm really happy with it. Anyway, so this one was not worked in this one was worked in concentric circles, not in a spiral. And that was because I wanted to get nice clean transitions. Yeah, transitions here, and then nice clean transitions also when working from the bottom of the belly up here to the top of the body. So things that I changed from last time. So last time we talked about the skunk, I was considering making the patch on the back of the head smaller. I ended up not doing that, just going with it, looking at more pictures of skunks and trying to figure out what is important for the realism and what is not so important. And I mean, it really does depend on the skunk, kind of how big the white patch in the back of their head is. So I just decided to roll with it. I did end up taking out the back here and then adding some white single crochets in here, then switching back to the black so we get some of that taper. It's not, I mean, it doesn't really taper, it just kind of jumps. But I still like it better than just having the open, having black from here all the way down. On the tails, let me see. They're just scattered over here. Got my project bin. Let's see. I guess I didn't end up with that many versions, but it felt like it. So the very, very first version of the skunk was going to be this guy, and then the second version of the skunk was this guy, and that was the tail, which is super bad. And then I showed you guys this version, but what I didn't like that it was white here as well. And so then the next version I did was this, but then this one was too small in my opinion, and I wanted more, I wanted it to have more of this shape instead of being quite so just kind of straight. I like the point and then the wider, excuse me, I've got the hiccups, the wider part, and then, you know, tapering at the base. And so, and this one just didn't like have that at all. So then I came up with this version, which it's definitely not as extreme, but I really like how we do have some width, a little bit of a point down here, and that this color change matches right into here as well. So it looks a little bit more seamless even though you're attaching it later. So it has been, I mean, this skunk project has been a little bit more complicated than I really thought it would. And it may have just been like getting back into designing, but I really didn't expect it to take like, I don't know, 3 tries and lots of tails and what just felt like, I don't know, a lot of mind work to finally get it done. But it is done, and I am quite pleased with it. I still have to go take pictures, and I need to work on putting the pattern together. Like, I've taken all of the pictures of the process, but I need to like update them in the pattern, write, you know, the descriptions. Like, there's a lot still to do here, but I should be able to get that done easily within the rest of the month, get the pattern out to testers, etc. So for that, I am grateful, and I'm looking forward to it. And also this year, the Christmas ornament collection I want to do is I want to do woodland animals, and so the skunk would be like the first one because I've got the head done. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. It sounds like I've got family over, so I apparently need to go. But this is where we are, and I'm happy with it. So I hope you guys are doing well. I can hear my family chatting downstairs, so I had better run. Hope you guys take care and have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you again soon.